Hello, space friends. This is Greg Allison with Galactic Greg's coming to you late here on Sunday night. Guys, NASA's about to fire 3 rockets in the APEP mission into the Eclipse. Well, almost into it. Not exactly. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about these missions and a little bit about eclipse viewing and whether you can see the so-called Devil's Comet or also some planets. So we're going to get into that. And I'm going to announce that I hope to be doing a live broadcast of the eclipse from a location that it can actually be seen from in Maine tomorrow, and may also cover these rocket launches here on this channel. So stay tuned. And I am live, so I'm going to update the chat room here to see if anybody's in, so who might be here. And then we're going to get into the news. It's going to take a second to pull all this up. So here we go. We got all the 2 people watching. So, all righty, here we go. Let's get into it. I am going to do some article share. And here's the case. Now, so they're going to fire these rockets from Wallops Range, which is right here down in this little peninsula on the eastern side of Virginia. Now, when you fire rockets from test ranges, they are not going to be going over land typically. Now, when they had the eclipse last October, we had an eclipse coming through this area. They fired them over the White Sands Missile Range here, which is in eastern New Mexico, which is a huge range that you can fly over land and be over the military base the entire time and not be over any populated centers. That's the beauty of the White Sands Missile Range, is an inland missile range along those lines. Well, this time, since the eclipse is taking this path, they're going to fire the rockets from Wallops. I've been to Wallops on Chickatee Island, out here. So they're going to, they not see, this is the direct path of the totality. And by the way, you see this community of Houghton? I got hopefully a camera there tomorrow. So hopefully we can cover this live if everything works out for us. But anyway, guys, so what I expect them to do is they got to fire these over water, because this is a very populated region. And they got to be far enough offshore to not be a problem with offshore boats and the typical things. They'll file a notice to airmen and notice to seamen to fire these rockets, these sounding rockets. And I have done sounding rockets myself and filed similar notices for ones I launched off the east coast of North Carolina that got me the Space Pioneer Award, and later did a lot of work in the Gulf of Mexico and working with Eglin Air Force Range for range scheduling services, Eglin Air Force Base, excuse me. So what I'm expecting now, see that this eclipse is a lot broader than a lot of them for like 90% coverage. 90% coverage actually comes down here where I'm presently at in Alabama, but it's going to be raining, so I don't really expect to see anything directly. So what you're going to see is this launch will probably go just out over the eastern seaboard, take a path like how the space shuttle would launch when it was going to the International Space Station, and other launches taking a high path of inclination to chase the Russian space station, or the International Space Station, which is in a Russian friendly orbit at a high inclination. That's why you can see it go over most of the United States and southern Canada, by the way. So they'll be following a trajectory similar to that going out this direction. That's what I expect. Maybe a little more easterly. They wouldn't want to come down over that island there. So, and they won't really go that far, to be honest, because these are sounding rockets. No, they're not flying them into the sun. They're not flying them into the moon. They're not flying them directly into the eclipse. And nothing crazy is going to happen over this. A lot of people are saying, oh my God, NASA's firing rockets, so what's going to happen? Blah, blah. They've already done this back in 2017. So this is a recap, because they're wanting to study the ionosphere and how the sun affects the ionosphere. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you some little articles on that. This is mostly university level experiments. The primary investigator is this guy by the name of, where is it here? Ara Bajarta. I don't know how you say that. It's an Indian name, obviously, something like that. Bajartya, yeah, maybe Bajartya. I'm not sure exactly how that's pronounced. But what he said is understanding the ionosphere and developing the models to help us predict disturbances is crucial to making sure increasingly communication-dependent world operates smoothly. He's with Florida's Embry-Riddle University, and that's where they're basing their experiments from. But they do travel. They've traveled to White Sands back last October, and they're up at Wallops right now getting prepared for that launch. And the rockets are going, what, about 260 miles, something like that. I'll find out in a little bit here. The ionosphere goes from about 55 miles up to the orbits of about 300 to 400 miles. So it's the upper reaches of it's kind of tenuous. The whole thing is tenuous because we have satellites flying in the upper reaches of it. It's just over the altitude that balloons would go to, a little over 20 miles. But you could fire a rocket from a balloon to it, like the rockets I used to launch. The Raccoon rockets used to fly into that region. We often refer to the region between where the satellites and space station flies and the actual balloons as the ignorosphere, because nothing hardly goes through it unless it's a rocket launch. So that's really what they're exploring, the ignorosphere and the upper end of that. They're showing rocket ships down here at a lower altitude. So, yeah, balloons will go through this mesosphere and stratosphere, excuse me. The stratosphere is where your balloons go. Upper stratosphere, planes in the lower stratosphere. So this is what you're looking at. Yeah, balloons can go way over the altitude of planes. As you can see, unfortunately, a lot of the country, and I'm going to go into this in some more detail, is going to be under storms at the time of the eclipse. So a lot of the nation is not going to see the eclipse because of cloud cover of varying degrees, but it will be very crystal clear in Maine, one of the few places. So hopefully I got a camera up there and we'll be able to see some of this from New Days, no less. And I see she's in the house. Hello, New Days, and Mag Rising and Jason with Ring Country Agroforestry. It's one smart guy on growing stuff. So if you're interested in that, subscribe to his channel, guys. All right, so let's book on here. Let's see. Go back to this is one of the rockets right here, guys. They got 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. They're going to launch these 3 rockets. It may be the same ones actually launched back in October, refurbished. And this is a program called APEP, which is which basically is got the name of the Egyptian name. It's also similar to Apophis for the god of darkness, which is depicted as a snake. I'll show that in a little bit. So let's go over here. Oops. Guys, listen. Price of gold is shooting up. It's projected to hit a lot higher. As the dollar is under stress, you might want to think about going to defy the grid. There'll be links provided below. Maybe somebody throw them in the chat room here. The good thing about these guys is they got a deal. If you find a better plan anywhere else, a better price, they'll meet it or beat it. You can buy gold coins, bullion, gold, silver, platinum, or what I really like is these gold backs. So think about that, guys. So let's go on here with the story here. So this is talking again about the what they're doing is they're in the moon's shadow. And so this prime investigator, he had something to say. That he said that it was kind of like flying through what happens is when the sun goes over, it gets dark and the atmosphere cools down. The ionosphere, the upper atmosphere cools down a bit. The density drops. And it's kind of like dropping a pebble in a pool. There's ripples up there. They refer to it more like a motorboat. So let's see what he says here. It's an electrified region that reflects and refracts radio signals and is also impacted by satellite communications as the signals pass through. Understanding the ionosphere and developing models to help us predict disturbances is crucial to making sure our increasingly communication-dependent world operates smoothly. That's pretty close to what I read earlier to you guys. And he's got a motorboat quote in here somewhere. But basically what he said is this is like the sun's shadow has an effect on the upper atmosphere in terms of disturbances of like a motorboat going through the ionosphere. And here's a depiction here of what happened back in October. No, this is the 2017 event. The October event was much further south. It went this way. This is the 2017 event. I actually watched this one indirectly and saw the corona in Sparta, Tennessee. I chose a very rural area to watch this from, hoping that there'd be a lot less traffic than the urban centers. And indeed, there was still a lot of traffic, but it was better, much better than that. So yeah, each rocket will eject 4 secondary instruments about the size of 2-liter soda can bottles. So this is nothing major. It's nothing to get scared of. This is kind of a simulation of one of these sounding rockets going up. That are staged rockets. That's your first stage. It'll drop off, and this will ignite and ascend to higher altitude. Now they should have passed the planes, then the balloons. Now going 30 miles here, and then arcing over. But it will be flown. There's your payloads separating. It will be flown out over the ocean. That makes it look like it's over the West Coast, but that's just a simulation, guys. Provided by NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. So just to give you guys an idea about this. So APEP stands for Atmospheric Perturbations Around Eclipse Path. Atmospheric perturbations around the eclipse path. We're not going to be here long tonight, guys. I decided to go lay up live because I was about to upload this, but it's just going to take too long recording the video and uploading it. It's already getting late, and I got other stuff to do. I'm behind schedule for eating my dinner. I'm blowing my diet, but that's another story. To study atmosphere, scientists will. Now, this was an article written before they flew in October. Same stuff, same experiments. That was, now that's again the 2017 path. That's not the October path. This is Mr. How you say it? Arho Bajartia. This is him right here. He is again with Embry University. There he is again with a Wallops technician working with him, installing these payloads, these sensors on the booms of this sounding rocket. Then they got them, that's what they look like extended. Of course, they will be folded up in the rocket. It won't be extended like that. That's what happens. You see, they fold them up there. John Peterson, he's with NASA Wallops. That's who this guy is. So rockets are the best way to look at the vertical dimension at the smallest possible spatial scales, according to this guy. So that's why he chose sounding rockets. To give you good fidelity. They'll be taking their measurements between 45 and 200 miles. Yeah, I thought it said it was going to go up a little over 200 miles up. Again, this is the pathway from last October where they fired over White Sands missile range. Probably got a better path into this eclipse. Now, I did see, little moon circles and leaves over here in Alabama from this eclipse, but they won't be in the direct path of this eclipse. They might have been a lot closer to it there, but this eclipse actually is wider, supposedly, in terms of partial totalities. So that'll make it interesting. That will make it quite interesting. So again, APEP is also the name. This snake god, this is APEP, your buddy APEP, an ancient Egyptian deity. It was depicted on, this is as it was depicted on the tomb of Ramses. Yeah, that's one of those pictures you could copy and paste on something else. That's cool. Anyway, so I don't think you can copyright it since it came from so many thousands of years ago, so we're probably free to use that. So if anybody wants a snake to put on something else, a snake artwork, there you are, guys. So no big deal. NASA likes to choose funky names for their missions. It's not going to be the end of the world. But this comet, Pons Brook, comet 12P, Pons Brook, is known also as the Dragon Comet, or the, hey, Michelle, how you doing? Hang on, I'm going to make Michelle a moderator here. Whoops, hang on, guys. Well, where's it at? I'll do it later. Let me get through the news part here real quick. It's taking too long. Everybody wants to hear the news stuff first. All right, so it will be visible if you're looking up. It should be to your left. I think it's 20 some odd degrees over. But they claim you may not be able to see it with your naked eyes. You may or may not. Now, here's what you need to know. They're talking about, some people says, yeah, well, it might only be binocular visible. If you're taking binoculars and you're staring up in the sky toward the sun, you're supposed to use those glasses. You're liable to blind yourself. So this article says, no, do not do it. Do not do it. They're even claiming don't take a photograph of it with your camera of the sun. Well, I've done that. during the eclipse. Didn't have any problems with my camera, but they want you to be very careful here. So here we are, guys. This is what the sun will look like. Mercury would be over here. So like I said, it'd be to your left. Pond's Brook would be down here to the left from the sun. And Uranus and Jupiter are going to be in these areas. If you could see them, Mercury, Uranus, Jupiter, and Pond's Brook will be a bare little faint spot if you can manage to see it. You may not be able to see it. And if you're in much of the country, it's going to be cloud cover, even diffuse clouds. You may not be able even to see Uranus and Jupiter. So there's a lot to be determined on that. So again, this is an article from Business Insider talking about the prospects of seeing this Everest-sized comet. She also called it Mother of Dragons. I don't know if that's a Chinese name. Comets are named after the discoverers. And when you see two names, it means it was two co-discoverers, Pons and Brook in that case. All righty. I met Dr. Hale, co-discoverer of the Hale-Bopp comet, a couple times. Nice man, nice astronomer. So again, this is the kind of what may be available in the sky. This is a little better look. I don't think I'll blow this up. So, you got Jupiter and Uranus over here, the comet to the left. Then you got Venus. You probably will see Venus. Venus will probably be the easiest to see, and Jupiter next. Saturn's going to be over here, and Mars will be to the right of that. So it's going to be daylight. These planets aren't visible normally because it's daylight, but you might be able to see some of these planets. Venus, maybe Saturn, Mars more likely, Jupiter, Uranus. You're not going to see Uranus, I don't think, not without a telescope. And you might be able to see the comet. Maybe. But they say don't use binoculars. So it's a safety warning. Now, a lot of people are afraid of earthquakes because this the eclipse is going right over the New Madrid zone. And of course, you got the moon and the sun lined up, which would be an additive tidal effect, supposedly. But believe it or not, the effect of the sun, because it's so far away, is only about half the effect of the moon, which is closer to Earth in terms of tidal production. And there's no historical evidence or accounts of tidal forces causing earthquakes, with the exception of, and I'm going to go into this, of some are located with volcanoes that like oceanic ridges. And the reason for that is not going to be what you think. It's not the pull of the tide. It's the opposite. It occurs when the tides are low, actually, not high. So it's not what you think. We're going to go into that in just a second. We're almost done with this, guys. So Sir Isaac Newton discovered the tidal forces back in 1687 because he's the guy that came up with the idea of gravity. So he extended this to the moon and the sun, and he figured out that the tidal forces were part of that. So in 1687 is when they figured out the linkage. Till then, nobody knew. I probably should have showed this later. Oh, yeah, by the way, so all this right here is milky-looking clouds. I don't know, those storms look like they're going to be in this area. The eclipse starts right about here and works its way north through Arkansas. You might have a little more break here in the center of Arkansas. If this forecast on windy is correct, as it goes up, you might be able to see it some in Indiana, Ohio, as long as you're not in eastern Ohio. But all these can change how weather is. It don't cooperate with our predictions all that well sometimes, as you well know. Even New York, a lot of people were going up here thinking, well, we might see it in Toronto. Well, Toronto looks a little better than mid-New York, but all this has got diffuse cloud cover. It looks like the only area where you can actually view the eclipse well might be northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. They got the best viewing. New Days is in Maine. She's in the house, and we're going to try to see if we can set up a live cast from Maine. So you might get your best view of the comet right here on this channel, where I'll be zooming with her. And also those rockets will do a live cast of their launch, so I'll link to that. So we may switch back and forth. Now, they're going to launch 3 rockets, one 45 minutes before, one during, and one 45 during the closest approach of the eclipse to this area, and one right after, 45 minutes later. So 45-minute sequence apart. They've already done this before, guys, so it's nothing to get scared of. I hear other YouTubers just talking all kind of smack. This is talking about tidal forces again. This is a galaxy with a small little galaxy going around it. And you can see some of the stars strung out between them due to the tidal forces there. This is an inverse square law, guys. This shows that gravity and anything that's been coming out of a point source radiating through space like light falls off very rapidly. Inverse square law. The sun is 93 million miles away. Optically, it looks the same size as the moon from here, but it don't have the same effect. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, so this is what you expect in a normal tide, is that tidal waves may go +3 to -3 feet, typical. Now, if you're in a channel somewhere where this gets amplified, it might be more, like I guess in St. Lawrence Seaway, maybe, and some fjords. So we're talking about it maybe a 6 foot plus minus the plus variation in some areas. Some places it might be more, but this is what you typically get. Now you get the sun and the moon additive. Or off the coast of Maine, it might be a little bit more new days. You might have somebody off the coast trying to report back what they're seeing up there. That'd be interesting to hear. And you can see the whole thing plays out different over time as you get different I can't even talk tonight. Various synced up events, let's put it that way. Now here's what's really funny with the moon. You get a high tide on the side of the moon, but you also get one on the other side, the antipode. Now, if the Earth were flat and the moon going around over a flat disk, you wouldn't get nothing like this, folks. So if you flat earthers, wrong answer. Earth ain't flat. Now, this is a paper on the triggering of earthquakes. Now, it's still possible if you had an earthquake just right on the cusp that's about to occur, this could possibly throw it over the edge. There has been activity in the New Madrid fault lately. I personally would be really surprised if anything happened there, though. Personally, it would really surprise and astonish me if you got the major earthquake there that some people fear. I'm not at all convinced that fault line is quite yet ready for that. Although Mary Greeley on Mary Greeley News is reporting about a storm earthquakes there. She thinks it might be on the verge. We shall see. I don't know. But now here's the odd thing. This report here goes into some details of what might surprise you. It's not the tidal pull that's causing the volcanoes at ridges like the we call it Sandus, Juan de Fuca Ridge off the west coast, maybe the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. What these volcanoes sometimes set off earthquakes, or they cause activity themselves, and it occurs at low tide, the opposite of a high tide. And they think the reason for this is there's not as much weight of water on the top. The water goes down. As the water goes down, they believe the magma fills up the magma chamber more. It's kind of like a balloon. It goes up and down. The pressure is up, pressure's down. With the water pressure off, magma fills in, expands the subsea floor, and causes little earthquakes. So there you are, guys. It's the opposite of what you'd think. So I thought that was just an interesting little tidbit. And we're about done here. It just so happens that a Soyuz capsule just returned 3 crew members from the International Space Station that safely landed in Kazakhstan, carried 2 women and 1 man. The man was Oleg Novitsky. I hope I'm getting that close. And it landed in this remote town. Pardon me, guys, pronouncing the DZH. I don't know. I got to hear it. DZHEZ, blah, 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 blah. No, I ain't going there. I can't get that one. I got to hear it first. I can say anything I hear once I hear it well, but I have not heard that town pronounced. So there were 2 ladies on board, and they were, let's see. The American was Laurel O'Hara, and the Russian lady was Marina Vasilevskaya. I don't know. I got to practice that a little bit. Anyway, and one of the Russians left to say the Oleg Novitsky was the one that landed, but there's another Russian Oleg still on the space station. I had a pair of Olegs up there at the same time. What about that? Of course, still on the space station is Michael Barat, Matthew Dominic, Tracy Dyson, and Jeanette Epps, as well as Russian cosmonauts Nikolai Chubb, Alexander Grebenkin, and that other Oleg. This might be easier to pronounce. Nico. I don't know. Anyway, so much for that. That's the news portion of this space news segment tonight. I do hope to go live here in a little bit. Not well, a couple hours later on Silverhead News. If I can pull the news together between now and then, I still haven't eaten supper, and I was trying to keep all my meals within 8 hours, and I'm blown that just to do this. It takes time to do this stuff, guys. So it's hilarious that thousands of people traveling to see the eclipse. Yeah, most of them will be in cloudy weather. Well, you're lucky, Michelle. You're right there. I got a realtor coming by here tomorrow, so I'm not going anywhere. I got to sell this place. So where is add as mod? There it is. I tried to find it earlier and it wasn't popping up for me. Standard moderator. Bang. All right. So Michelle, you've been smurfed, and I had a request smurf somebody else. It's probably smurfed on my other channels. Yeah. Well, we got 57 in the room. Well, that's doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good in terms of people in the room. So let's go back here. Let's see here. Now we do have some. That's a man baby. What's that? Man baby. All right. So we do have this channel actually gets watched by more Russians. Something fell. What was that? That avalanche somewhere. Alaska Soul. You know, if you miss some stuff, just catch it on the rewind, Alaska Soul. What is it that this does it this way? Hang on, let me scroll the screen. Bang. All right, Shaggy, you are modded. You are modded. You've been knighted, smurfed, blue ranched. All right, let's see what folks are saying. Hi, Greg. All right, so I like to spend a couple of minutes with my chat room, more than most channels do, but we're going to go pretty fast here. Yeah, I believe CERN's overblown. Guys, in terms of the eclipse, the sun and the moon, this happens. It happens all the time. Well, not every day, but it's not unusual to get a solar eclipse. That in itself shouldn't cause any problems. If there's any real problems, it's probably because of people going crazy. Or maybe somebody wants to use this as an excuse to do bad stuff. We're living at a time of international tension right now. So anywhere you got crowds gathering, be on the lookout. Be alert. Like I say on Swivelhead News and Green Graves, keep your eyes wide open and head on a swivel at a time like this. You got to be alert. Be very aware of people around you, what's going on. So that's the biggest thing to be concerned about. I think it was really odd that some so-called government advice went out and told people they needed to store 100 days worth of water. Well, you should do that anyway. But for the eclipse, 100 days? What? It just sounds loco to me. I've been to one of these. Now, if you go in a big city, major metropolitan area where people are gathering on the interstates to see something like this, oh, it's going to be crowded. It was in 2017. And it took them hours to get in and out. Now, I went to see that eclipse in a rural area, very small town, small community, small town, which was Sparta, Tennessee. I picked that place specifically because it was rural, small. I figured I could find a parking lot there because it was a little town. And I did. I found a parking lot, and there was a lot of people there watching eclipse. And it still took about an hour or two to get out. But it wasn't nearly like people trying to get out of other areas. So that's going to be your big deal, is getting in and out. And bear in mind, you got to pay attention. It's going to be wrecks go up, accidents go up because people get tired of waiting in line. They get frustrated and do dumb things or not paying attention because of the traffic jams. So the incidents of wrecks go higher. Now, during the eclipse itself, they drop because everybody's looking up at the sky and go, ooh, ah. So pay it, part of the thing you want to pay attention to is just the environment around you, like, how dark it gets, how cool it gets. Yeah, I felt that the eclipse in 2017. I did see the corona. I understand this one might be even better than the one I saw, but overall, I was kind of underwhelmed by it. So really, I traveled all this way for this. So okay, I saw one. Check. I'm done. So Not getting it notifications. Yeah, this channel does not like to put out notifications. When I first started, I got the by far huge bulk of my views by notifications. I had a much smaller channel, far fewer subscribers, and I got way more people watching back in those days on my channels. That's why I ask you guys continuously to share my videos, to like and comment in the comments below. All that stuff helps the algorithms to promote this stuff. So I got kind of a rule. I've discovered any video I post after 10 tanks, unless I go live. That's why I do live sessions late. Live sessions carry. For some reason, the algorithm sees all the people in it, and it will promote it more. So that it carries better when I go live, if I'm on late at night, if I go live. So what folks got to say there was watching earthquake reports when New Day sent the live message on Discord. Apophis. Yeah, that's the other name for it. Same name as the comet, not comet, the asteroid, Apophis. And I think in Greek, that's Apollyon. Pretty close. It means about the same thing. Destroyer, Apollyon, destroyer. With some revelations, there's the star Apollyon that's supposed to hit open bottomless pit. Let's hope that's not the asteroid Apophis. Jeez. That thing hits, it's going to be a very bad day. Yeah, that would be a bottomless pit. It would make quite a hole, and a lot of smoke would boil out. But yeah, that's what was in Revelation, smoke boiling out. Of course, it also had those strange little insectoid helicopters or drones or whatever that was attacking everybody. All the people that didn't have the good mark on them, according to the book of Revelations. Now, a lot of people here in Galactic Grace may not subscribe to that kind of stuff, so I'm just pointing out. All right. I'm a donut earth, says John Hill. Well, at least you're not a flat earther. Funny. All right, we got a lot of people in here today, mostly people from other channels. How's John Edwards doing? Big Doug, Jesse Mills. I'm in Washington State, so I'll go see about 20%. Yeah, it's amazing. Even that far away, you're going to get some at Newfoundland that's cloud-free. There you go. It is. It is. It is. That would be a pretty good place. You won't get it. Well, yeah, you will get it just east of Maine. That's right. Let's see here. At the end, you can give me the blue ranch somewhere. Yeah, all right. You got it now. The only thing we need to worry about with the eclipse is what our government is going to do. That are just crazy people. That are just crazy people. Worms don't do well in Arizona. Really? No, actually, I know a worm farm. I know a couple of worm farms in Arizona. I've actually sent worms to one, and there's a big worm farm down in Phoenix. It was a big property, but I guess he ran out of worms. I sent him worms back when I was selling worms. I shipped worms to that guy. So the worms he's got today are probably from my place here. So let's see. What's the last thing's being said here? All right, folks. Watch the cement underneath the trees. Oh yeah. Like I said, when we had the event last October, I was at the farmer's market when it occurred. And through every little hole in the tree, suddenly you saw those little crescents all over the place. It was beautiful. I didn't have any eclipse glasses. I couldn't find the ones I used in 2017. I did get a pair at the Love's truck stop. Actually, I got 2 pair. So if it wasn't going to be cloudy as I'll get it, I could get out and see it when it occurs here. It should get really dark here, especially with the clouds at 90% eclipse. So I'm expecting it to get dark here, but I won't see the kind of sights that I saw in 2017, except via link with New Days. We're going to try to set up from her place a live link via Zoom. What is this? And if that live link don't work out for some reason, I will at least try to play the rocket launches, because they're going to be live carried, and it'll be 3 of them, 45 minutes across. Cryo worms from Titan. Those will be some cold worms. We talk about sending probes to some of these real cold places where the rocks are made out of the stuff that's gas here on Earth. Now, how do you cool down the landing pads on any spacecraft cool enough so that when you set them down, they don't just vaporize whatever you put them on? When I was a kid, I remember spitting on the coal stove we had in the kitchen and watching that skitter around. I used to laugh. My mom would get on to me for that. She didn't like that word a little bit, but I thought it was hilarious. Spit on that coal stove because it was so hot that the spit would be vaporizing wherever it touched it. So it would pop around and just skitter and make it sound. And I would just laugh. I thought that was so funny when I was a little bitty kid. Well, that's what your landing pads would be doing on Titan. I don't know how you can land on Titan. I just don't know how you can cool that down enough and have enough insulation on landing pads in this crew cabin in your spacecraft. Maybe you can do it, but it will be a real challenge. Can you do it? And can you maintain that temperature differential across a structure over time? You know, in terms of putting something down permanent on Titan, it'd have to be able to cool down to those temperatures. Or I don't know, it's going to be very interesting. How could you put a manned thing down on Titan? I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see that as even being wise by any stretch of the imagination. Or people heading south for a better view. I don't know, maybe in Mexico or somewhere. I could go back here to Windy again, and let's have a look at it, what their prediction center says here. Give me a second. We'll try. I'll do share screen one more time. We're about to go. We've been here long enough for this. I've covered all the news on it. Yeah, actually in Mexico, that's funny. This thicker cloud bank, it pretty much is hugging the Rio Grande. So if you went like down to Monterey, actually the eclipse is going to be more intense down here. Actually, if you were in this area, you would probably see a really good eclipse. Now, you got these diffuse cloud cover. I don't know how diffuse this is going to be. I don't know if you're going to be able to see through this, how well you'll be able to see through it or not, but you got diffuse cloud cover. It might be you can see through it perfectly well. It could just be high water vapor. I don't know what this real light, milky gray means in terms of cloud cover. There's an area in Arkansas where it don't look too intense, even up through here, and that's part of the direct path. So you might get a good view through here, a decent view. That's debatable. Of course, all this stuff, it will shift around. But the best view in the United States of America, in terms of clarity and clear skies, is right here. And of course, into Canada, New Brunswick. Won't be too bad down here in Nova Scotia. Newfoundland. Yeah, on the islands here, you might see it here. Not up here. But the clouds are kicking back in. All right, guys. So that is pretty much it. Stop the share. Halo. All right. Halo. High altitude liftoff. Rocket. That's what got me the Space Pioneer Award, by the way. So I say Halo. That's what's coming. Was busy sending a link. I hit it and ran. Didn't have time to see it. Oh, like a cat on a hot tin roof. There you go, Big Doug. Kind of like that, only probably worse. Hot tin roof. Yes, sir. I'm in Vermont, but they're saying it'll be cloudy. Could be. I mean, it looks clear on this, but this thing may not be that accurate because some of the other depictions I've seen show more cloud cover. That's what I'm saying. A little milky looking thing may be pretty intense. So we'll just have to see. Cross your fingers, and I wish everybody that wants to see this the best luck. Just be careful getting in and out. Don't get in no hurry. If you get in a hurry, you're going to be highly disappointed because you're not getting, it's like, in a big stadium game, trying to get in and out before and after a game. It'll be worse. Maybe a Super Bowl. It's going to be worse. Lots of people will be congregating. Of course, anywhere we get big crowds, there's always potential in this day and time with all the international consternation and some mayhem. But it's going to be distributed over such a wide length of the country. It ain't going to be stuff happening everywhere. There might be a spot or two for somebody that's something stupid, but maybe not. We've had all these Super Bowl games and nothing happened. There's been a lot of speculation about something happening in the Super Bowl, at least yet. Nothing yet. Parachutes will work awesome on Titan. Oh, yeah, Titan has a very thick atmosphere, by the way. So parachutes do work, and they do work well. Not on Mars so well, but on Titan, yes. Those of you who on Discord, check out the earthquake map for Alaska in the last 3 weeks. New York ain't got nothing on us when it comes to earthquakes. Oh, that's true. All right, we'll look at that tonight on Swivelhead News. I hope to go live there. I've still got to eat, and I got to throw together some articles if I'm going to make it. I wanted to go live last night. I just couldn't get the stuff together fast enough. It's possible I won't make it tonight, but I'm going to endeavor. I'm going to try to go live on Swivelhead News tonight. So just keep your eyes wide open, head on the swivel, and you might look out and see me again. The tetragrammaton is watching you. Oh. All righty, folks. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching.